Gypsy Rose Blanchard says she is not doing anything that anybody else wouldn't do in embracing the viral internet fame that she has got since being released from prison. In an interview with ABC News, she decided to clear up some of the nasty rumors being spread about her online. The fact that it's suddenly popular to hate on her and criticize her just because she's well known. In response to this, Gypsy said, "Honestly, I'm just a very shy person. I don't think that I'm doing anything that anybody else wouldn't do." She also spent some of the interview defending herself and how she's been publicly boasting about her bedroom life with her new husband Ryan Anderson. She was asked about some of the details that she had previously shared on social media, including that Ryan's "you know what" is fire. She said, "Well, I'm a newlywed. I'm newly married and I just came out, so I'm living my best life with my husband. I don't think that's any different than any other wife would." But the fact that she even needs to defend herself now is pretty crazy. Like I said before, for some reason fans have decided to flip on Gypsy now that she seems to have more haters than supporters. A lot of it also has to do with a viral clip that went around TikTok, which didn't exactly paint her in a good light. During an interview, she was basically telling her husband to shut up when he says something that embarrassed her. Gypsy is talking about what it's like spending all those years in prison, and the fact that she's changed a lot over that time period. She jokes around and says, "Oh, I went from 19 to 32 so quick. Geez, I can't believe I got so old." This is when Ryan says, "You never went to school either." Gypsy is clearly very embarrassed about this comment and she quietly tells Ryan to shut up. But she says it under her breath while she was still smiling at the camera. After that, Ryan looks completely defeated and puts his head down, refusing to speak. At other points in the interview, you can actually see Gypsy squeezing his arm when she wants him to be quiet. And even though the quality of the video isn't that great, it's pretty clear that she found a way to stop him talking whenever she wants to. The whole thing seems a little bit like a toxic relationship. Not only that, people in the comment section actually seem to believe that Gypsy Rose is becoming just as controlling as her mother. Let's just take a look at some of these top comments under her video. One person wrote, "Gypsy needs to be in therapy, not doing multiple interviews." And Gypsy is shushing Ryan the same way her mother did to her. She's doing the same nudge that Edie did when she would hold Gypsy's hand. Another person wrote, "Gypsy is manipulative. She learned from her mom. If they break up, he's going to spill the beans." But of course, not everyone thinks the same way. There were also a lot of people defending her in the comments as well, saying things like Ryan deliberately tried to embarrass her by saying that she never went to school. Either way, these tell-all interviews are clearly not the best thing for their relationship right now. For some reason, the media wants to talk to both of them, but what they end up talking about most of the time in these interviews is Gypsy's life before prison. And obviously that's something that Ryan has nothing to do with. But Gypsy is clearly trying to put out positive content into the world and also use her platform for good. She recently decided to make a personal change with a powerful impact. She updated her fans on her dramatic hair transformation, which she did for a good cause. Gypsy took to TikTok and Instagram over the weekend to share that she cut off 8 inches of her hair. In her post, she included a selfie with her new look, captioned with the hashtag #ExpressYourself, and also a photo of her chopped strands. She wrote, "It's never too late to start reinventing yourself, even if it's something subtle like a new hairstyle. To all the girls, boys, and non-binary, enjoy your life, express yourself in whatever creative ways makes you happy. Life is too short to hide your beauty, let the world see you shine." She then filmed a TikTok video explaining her reason for that major change. She said, "So what I've been wanting to do for a very long time is to donate my hair to a charity that makes wigs for people that have had hair loss or are going through cancer. I have my own personal experience with hair loss, not by means of health reasons, but if you know my story, you're very familiar with those reasons why." So she decided to donate her locks to a charity called The Great Cut, which provides hair replacements to children with medically related hair loss at zero cost to their families. Now you might be thinking, what an amazing, selfless thing to do, right? Well, a lot of people didn't see it that way. In fact, her comment section was flooded with the most horrible negativity you could imagine. People were even going as far as writing things like, "Where's Nick?" referring to Nicholas Gojon, Gypsy's ex-boyfriend and accomplice, the guy who's currently serving a life sentence for taking her mother out of the equation. He's been silent up until now, but he recently wrote a bizarre email to the Post, explaining his side of the story just days after Gypsy's new documentary aired. He started the letter off by saying, "I want people to know that I am not lost in the ether of all of what is going on, with whom shall not be named," aka Gypsy. "I am just being patient for my true time to speak." When he was asked about Gypsy's newfound fame, marriage, and what life had been like behind bars, he only said, "I must be conscientious about my decisions." A lot of those questions will be answered in a foreseeable interview at the right time, which is not now. In the email, he seemed to be polite and childlike, using smiley faces 6 times. At the end of the letter, he wrote, "Stay positive, healthy, and safe." While his email didn't really give away too much, it's something that fans have been grabbing on onto as evidence of his supposed innocence. So with all of this going on, is it really that surprising that people are turning on Gypsy? The case, as we know, led to a media frenzy. Many documentaries and films were made about Gypsy and her mother, including the miniseries The Act and the documentary Mummy, Dead and Dearest. There are countless podcasts that have been released over the years detailing the case. People just cannot seem to get enough of it. With this newfound fame, even before she was released from prison, many young people fully embraced Gypsy into stan culture, or obsessive fandoms. There were countdowns to her prison release and videos glorifying her and the crime. After she started her social media presence, comments under her TikTok videos would read, "We love you, Gypsy Rose," and calling her a queen. But many people think her rise to fame is actually disturbing, dystopian, and downright strange. Right now, she has 17 videos on her TikTok account, and get this, she has over 9.9 million followers, and she's created multiple viral audios. The attention that she's been getting in the last 3 weeks is just pure insanity. So it's no surprise that people are starting to question who this person really is. While going on The View, Gypsy recently spoke about her life in prison and her plans to use her platform to advocate for other victims of Munchausen syndrome by proxy. During the interview, she said, "If there is someone out there watching right now, please listen to me. Heed my words, that you are not alone in this situation. There are other ways out. I did it the wrong way." And this is when she gets interrupted by Joy Behar, who strangely seems to forget that Gypsy actually committed a crime. She says, "No, honey, don't say that. You had no choice, really." And in response, Gypsy said, "Well, I did. I did something wrong and I paid my dues for it." It was only at this moment that Joy seemed to remember what actually happened in the death of her mother, because then she says, "Oh, you mean that part? Yeah, never mind." Of course, this part of the interview went viral because of how ridiculous it was. At this point, Anna Navarro jumps in and feels the need to say that the crime itself was wrong. So it's great that she was siding with Gypsy, considering the fact that she was actually a victim of her circumstances, but at this point she very casually almost justified the crime. And many other celebrities have also been reacting to her release from prison, like Joey King, for example, who wished Gypsy well after her release from prison. Joey actually played Gypsy in Hulu's series The Act. She was recently approached by photographers asking for her opinion on the news. She reluctantly answered by saying, "I'm so happy that she's released. I'm so happy for her. She deserves freedom," though she did end up dodging a few questions about whether she has spoken to Gypsy or has any plans to in the future. Some fans online have also been joking about the fact that Gypsy must hate Joey at this point because of the way that she portrayed her in the series. And from the outside looking in, she did a lot of research for the role. The voice was spot on, and so were all these subtle mannerisms. But even though she did put a lot of effort into it and did a brilliant job of acting, there is still those ethical questions about whether or not we should actually be making these true crime stories, which usually are all for entertainment. Thankfully, Gypsy Rose herself hasn't actually watched the series, and she says that she has no plans to do so. When she was asked about her decision, she said it's because she had to actually live through it. She also spoke up about the biggest misconception in her case, which is the way that her mother Dee Dee is being portrayed on screen. She said, "I think people tend to forget, or maybe they don't even know, that the reason why my mom was able to snowblind the doctors so much and the community is because she was so friendly. In the shows, they're portraying her as mean all the time, and that's just not how she was. According to Gypsy, she was charming, very relatable, and would give a hug to anyone. But of course, in reality, she was a different person entirely." Now that all of that is behind her, and of course she's just trying to move on like anyone else would in her situation, what do you think about all of this drama that she's been getting into lately? Please let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.